Question 14. Question 14 is actually testing students on the topic of mole concept. Okay, this is an example of a multi-step reactions where to obtain a certain product, we have a few reactions. In this case, 2 reactions. All right. So let's take a look at the question. Iron 3 oxide Fe2O3. It is converted into iron 3 hydroxide FeOH3 through the following processes, 2 steps. Now, what is the mass of iron 3 oxide? Iron 3 oxide is a reactant. Let me change color to differentiate. Iron 3 oxide that is required. Okay, Fe2O3 is here to produce 53.5 gram of iron 3 hydroxide. Iron 3 hydroxide in our reaction, it is here. Okay, so how would you actually attempt this question? All right, you've realized that to get iron 3 hydroxide, it is a 2-step process, correct? First, from iron 3 oxide, in the first step, it will react with nitric acid to form iron 3 nitrate, which then forms in the second step, which then reacts with sodium hydroxide to form iron 3 hydroxide. Okay, so we are going to compare the stoichiometry coefficient. What is the stoichiometry coefficient? It is the value, the number in front of the compound in your balanced chemical equation. We are just going to compare what we call the mole ratio. Okay, so in the first step, okay, first step or step 1, compare mole ratio between iron 3 oxide and iron 3 nitrate. It is 1:2. Second step, compare mole ratio between iron 3 nitrate and iron 3 hydroxide. It is 1:1. So what do we have to do? We have to make sure that the value for iron 3 nitrate, it is the same, common. Okay, so how? You have to multiply the second step, the mole ratio in the second step by 2, and your overall mole ratio will be 1:2. Okay, so from here, you realize that 1 mole of iron 3 oxide produces 2 moles of iron 3 hydroxide. Okay, so with the mole ratio already determined, let's do the question. Let's attempt the question. Okay, so the information that you are given with is the mass of iron 3 hydroxide. So this is mass. You need to find number of mole of iron 3 hydroxide by taking the mass 53.5 divided by the MR of iron 3 hydroxide, which I've already calculated to be 107. How did I get 107? 56, the AR of iron, plus 3 hydroxide ions, 3 bracket, 16 plus 1, which is 17, you will get 107. So 53.5 divided by 107 gives you 0.500 mole. Okay, now the next step, after you have already determined the number of mole of iron 3 hydroxide, you compare mole ratio between iron 3 hydroxide and between what you found, which is iron 3 hydroxide, and what you are asked to find, which is iron 3 oxide, Fe2O3. Based on what we discussed earlier, the mole ratio, it is 2:1. Correct? So 0.500 mole of iron 3 hydroxide, it is produced by 0.500 over 2 times 1, which is 0.250 mole. Okay, so there you have it, the number of mole of iron 3 oxide. So to find the mass, I will move it here. To find the mass of Fe2O3, we take the number of mole that we found earlier in step 2, 0.250 mole multiplied by the MR of iron 3 oxide. How do I find the MR of iron 3 oxide? 2 bracket 56 plus 3 bracket 16. You get 160. So 0.25 mole times 160, you will get 40 gram. Hence, the answer for this question, sorry, you should, if this is a structured question, you should give it to 3 significant figures. So it will be 40.0 gram. The answer for this question is B. Okay?